The first thing my girlfriend said after the doctor left the hospital room was, "I didn't sign up for this." Not, "How are you feeling?" Not, "We'll figure it out." Just that. I remember staring at her while rain slid down the hospital window behind her in long crooked streaks. My chest still hurt from the pneumonia complications, my hands were shaking from medication, and somehow the person I'd spent 4 years loving looked more inconvenienced than worried. Her name was Brielle. And honestly, that should have told me everything. My name's Carter Wynn. I'm 37 now, and 2 years ago I was the kind of guy people describe as potential. You know the type. Smart enough. Hardworking enough. Broke enough. I worked freelance app development contracts out of a tiny apartment in Seattle while trying to build a cybersecurity startup nobody really believed in except me and my best friend Theo. Theo believed in everything though. Guy once called gas station sushi a bold investment. Brielle, on the other hand, believed in appearances. Not openly at first. That's the thing about status-driven people. They reveal themselves gradually. Little comments. Little disappointments. A sigh when my old Honda stalled outside restaurants. Questions like, "Do you think we'll ever actually live somewhere nice?" At first I ignored it because relationships survive on optimism longer than they survive on honesty. Then I got sick. Bad sick. Pneumonia turned ugly fast and landed me in the hospital for almost 3 weeks. No insurance either because freelance work and optimism make terrible financial planners together. Meanwhile my startup basically froze while I recovered. That's when Brielle started changing. Not dramatically. Just colder. Less patient. More distracted. Then one afternoon she walked into my hospital room wearing expensive heels and carrying emotional distance like another accessory. "I met someone," she said quietly. Interesting timing there. Turns out the someone was a millionaire real estate investor named Adrian Vale. Older guy. Luxury condo money. Private driver money. The kind of man who probably never compared grocery prices in his life. I stared at Brielle for a second honestly thinking maybe medication was distorting reality. "You're leaving now?" She crossed her arms defensively. "I need stability, Carter." Stability. Funny word considering she said it beside a man fighting breathing complications. Then came the line I'll probably remember forever. "You have dreams. He has results." Yeah. That didn't sit right. But here's the part people never understand when I tell this story. I didn't hate her afterward. At least not immediately. Mostly I felt embarrassed. Not because she left. Because deep down, I realized I'd ignored warning signs for years just because I wanted love badly enough to reinterpret selfishness as ambition. Recovery took months. Hard months too. Hospital debt. Lost contracts. Physical weakness. Meanwhile Brielle's social media slowly transformed into a luxury travel brochure. Private yachts. Rooftop dinners. Dubai photos with captions about choosing peace. Theo used to send screenshots jokingly before realizing they actually bothered me. So eventually he stopped. Good friend. Now here's where life shifted unexpectedly. During recovery I spent most nights rebuilding my cybersecurity platform because honestly I couldn't sleep much anyway. Pain does that. You either collapse emotionally or become weirdly productive at 3 in the morning. Turns out companies were getting desperate around digital infrastructure security after several massive corporate breaches hit national news. Suddenly the software nobody believed in became extremely valuable. Funny how markets work. People call you unrealistic right until money starts agreeing with you. Theo and I landed our first major contract with a regional healthcare network about 8 months later. Then another. Then venture capital groups started calling. Real ones too. Not the fake motivational guru types wearing sneakers with suits. Within 18 months our company, Blackridge Systems, expanded faster than either of us expected. Office downtown. 40 employees. Acquisition offers. And eventually? Yeah. Money. A lot of it. Enough that financial magazines started doing those ridiculous, young disruptor, articles where photographers ask you to pretend staring out windows counts as leadership. Meanwhile I barely recognized my own life anymore. That's when Brielle came back. Of course she did. Funny thing about status-driven people. Their loyalty usually follows comfort like house cats follow sunlight. I saw her first at a charity networking event downtown. Big ballroom. Glass chandeliers. Expensive people pretending philanthropy isn't partially networking with appetizers. I almost didn't recognize her honestly. Not because she looked different. Because she suddenly looked nervous around me. Interesting reversal there. Brielle approached carefully holding champagne. Carter. I nodded politely. Hey. Silence stretched awkwardly between us while investors and executives moved around the ballroom behind us. Finally she laughed softly. You look different. Translation: wealth rearranged your social value. I stayed calm. So do you. Then she dropped the real information casually. She and Adrian had broken up months earlier. Apparently, stability becomes less romantic once controlling personalities enter the room. Shocking development. Brielle looked down briefly before speaking again. I handled things badly. That might have been the first honest sentence she ever gave me. I nodded once. Yeah. You did. Another silence. Then she surprised me. I think I was scared of struggling. There it was. Not evil. Not cruelty exactly. Fear. Fear disguised as standards. Fear disguised as ambition. A lot of people destroy relationships that way honestly. Still, understanding somebody doesn't automatically rebuild trust. Over the next few weeks Brielle kept appearing around events connected to our company. Too often. Too intentionally. Theo noticed immediately. She trying to reboot old software, he asked one night after a conference dinner. I laughed harder than expected honestly. Then came the major confrontation. Blackridge hosted a private investor celebration after finalizing an acquisition partnership worth more money than I'll probably ever emotionally process correctly. Big rooftop venue overlooking Seattle. Cold air. City lights. Too many people pretending they enjoyed sparkling water. Brielle arrived wearing this dark green dress I recognized instantly because she used to wear it whenever she wanted attention focused strategically. Halfway through the evening she pulled me aside near the balcony. I miss us, she said quietly. Us. Interesting word considering, us disappeared the second hospital bills arrived. I leaned against the railing looking out over the city for a second before answering. No, I said calmly. You missed the version of me you thought didn't exist yet. That landed hard. You could see it. Brielle's eyes watered immediately. I cared about you. I know, I said honestly. Just not enough to stay when life got inconvenient. That silence afterward felt strangely peaceful. Not victorious. Just clear. Because 2 years earlier I would have begged for another chance. Now? I mostly felt grateful the collapse happened before success instead of after it. Before leaving, Brielle asked one final question. Do you ever think we could have worked? I thought about that honestly. About hospital windows covered in rain. About Theo sleeping on my apartment couch during recovery so I wouldn't be alone. About building something real from absolute uncertainty. Then I answered truthfully. No. Because you loved security more than partnership. She nodded slowly after that. No arguments. No dramatic scene. Just quiet understanding arriving late again. These days my office overlooks Elliott Bay, and every once in a while I'll catch myself staring at the water remembering how small my world felt inside that hospital room. Funny thing is, Brielle thought she was leaving behind a struggling man. What she actually walked away from was the version of me that still needed other people to believe in him first.